We're back again, frugal friends, with another soup video. If you've not been here before, I'm Samantha. This is the channel Trying to Get By, and we have been making a video of different soups every month for coming up to a year. I think, including these soups that we've got today, we have got nearly 50 different soups. So if you are a soup fan, have a look out for all my other soup videos. I'll put a link at the end. Let's have a look at what soups we're going to make today. Broccoli, broccoli and more broccoli. We've got so much broccoli at the moment, it's ridiculous. I've air fried broccoli. I've put broccoli in a lovely spicy paprika broccoli and chickpea stew. Really tasty, but I want a broccoli soup. Now, traditionally, with broccoli, I'd go more earthy flavours, but I'm going to go broccoli and pea today because we've got loads of peas in the freezer, so they need using up. So that's going to add a little bit of sweetness to there. Now, when you think of peas, you think of mint. However, I'm going a little bit different. I've got some garlic, I've got some ginger, and I have got some miso. Miso is absolutely delicious, and even says on it, for soup. There you go. Can you see it? It's zoned out. There you go, for soup. It's a really lovely ingredient made from soya beans and really tasty, and it adds a lovely earthy richness and that flavour that you might have heard of when you hear people talking about umami. So it's that savouriness. So what I'm going to start to do first is tell Smarty to be quiet, if you did hear him then. There he is. I've got a pan on the heat here with just a tiny drizzle of oil. I'm going to pop this onion in to get that going. Now, the onion is just roughly chopped, small chops, so it sautés a little bit easier. You don't want bigger ones because they'll just take that little bit longer to saute. And we're just going to let them do their thing for a couple of minutes before we put in the ginger and the garlic. In the meantime, all that I'm going to do with the broccoli, which not reduced, I got it on an oleo, so this was totally free, is I'm just going to break it down into small florets, roughly that sort of size, so that they cook relatively easy, because some of those are quite big. So just try and make them roughly a similar sort of size, and I'll just leave the onion to do its thing. Next in is the ginger and the garlic. So we've had this going a couple of minutes. Garlic first. For me, a heaping teaspoon from the old jar. Ginger, not quite as much. Again, jar ginger. It's the easiest way to do it if you don't want to have to deal with fresh. If you do have fresh, you can always freeze it. So peel your garlic cloves, chuck them in the freezer. Just chuck your ginger straight in the freezer, and you can grate it from frozen as well. So that can be easily done. I just like the versatility of the jarred stuff. And the price-wise, it's pretty decent, particularly if you get it from not the supermarket, go to more your Asian groceries. I get it from an Asian deli, which is really, really good. So we've got that. So that's in there. I'm going to add the broccoli now, which I've not chopped into particularly pretty pieces, because it doesn't need to be, because this is going to be a blended soup. I'm just going to give that a little mix. Just give your broccoli a couple of minutes in the pan before you're going to add some water. Now, I'm not adding any stock to this, so I'm not using my standard bouillon powder that I have, or a stock cube. The flavour is coming from the miso, the ginger and the garlic, and I don't want to overpower those flavours by adding something else in there. So just give that another mix, and then we're going to pour our boiling water on top. There we go, just enough for now, because you can always add more later, to cover our broccoli. I'm going to pop a lid on this because I think it will just help with the cooking process. And I'm going to give the broccoli, Wait till this gets back up to the boil and give it 5 minutes on a medium-high simmer. So it has cooked for about 5 minutes once it got up to the boil, and now we're going to put in some peas. So that's going to take the temperature right down again. So I'm going in for a good few handfuls of peas. So you want a balance of sort of, for every portion of broccoli, you want a 2/3 pea. So I reckon that is 1 to 2/3 roughly. I'm going to push the peas under. I think we've still got enough liquid in there. There we go. Now I'm going to add my miso paste to this. So we've got a good heaping, that's probably a good tablespoon actually, never mind a teaspoon, of miso that's going to go in there. Let's give that a little mix, a bit of a squish just to get it going. There we go. And then lid back on, and we know peas don't take that long, but they have been frozen, so we're going to bring it back up again to the boil. Once it's back at the boil, go for about a 2-minute boil on the peas. There we go, all nicely blended. Hopefully everything is done. There's probably a stray pea in there somewhere that I've bound to have missed. I always end up missing one little thing. Let's give it a bit of a taste. Oh, that is really good. It's still got a little bit of texture to it. You're never going to get a perfect texture. You can see like on here. So hand blenders never going to get it super duper super smooth. If you wanted to, if you have one, put it through a stand blender, you know, like a Vitamix. Oh, to be able to afford £600 for a Vitamix. If not, and you do want it a little bit smoother, just pass it through a sieve, and that'll just get rid of those smaller bits that you might not want. I'm not too bothered. I'm just going to add a pinch of salt and a little bit of pepper to this. There we go. Not much, just a little crack, just to enhance that flavour even more. And this is going to be my soup for the next few days. So whatever I don't use, oh yeah, that's better, it's going to go in the fridge. This is what I would call a lunchtime soup. It's a bit lighter. Or if you were going to have it, you know, say if you were trying to have a soup or a salad at the beginning of a meal to save having extra stuff, you know, you could have smaller portions of your main meal. This would be a good soup to start with. For Chris, not so much. He wants a hearty soup with plenty in it. So there we go. That's that soup. I'm going to portion myself some up, cool the rest down and pop it in the fridge. I've got some sweet potatoes that need using up, so I thought we can make those easily into a soup. We're going to add a bit of body to it and throw some chickpeas in there as well. It's going to be a smooth soup. So we're just going to peel these and then boil them in some stock before adding the chickpeas. But we're going to put an onion in there as well, because an onion always enhances the flavour. But the main flavours that we're adding today are some cumin, some turmeric, some mixed herbs, some paprika, some coriander, some onion powder and some garlic powder. I've got the pan on. We're going to throw in our onions to start with, because that's the best way to start. There we go. Pop those in there. And while those are frying off, I am going to peel the potatoes and chop them into chunks. In the bottom of the pan, I've just popped in just a standard stock cube, just crunched it up and just left that in there. I've chopped up the sweet potato, not too big, not too small, just sort of like thumb size pieces. Because I find potatoes, if you cut them too small, can go a bit, and then if you put water on them, they can go a bit soggy. Almost like if they absorb too much water. So in with some hot water, just enough to cover that. And now we're going to add all the flavourings, because I want these flavours to well and truly get in with this as it's cooking. So garlic powder, about a teaspoon. Onion powder, about half a teaspoon. There we go. Cumin, a good heaping teaspoon, because we like the spice of that. Turmeric, it's going to be a case of whatever I've got left. So that's about half a teaspoon of turmeric. A half of mixed herbs. I would put a full teaspoon of coriander leaf in, but I'm only going to go for a half because Chris doesn't like coriander that much. So we try and hide it as much as possible. And then a teaspoon of smoked paprika. There we go. That is all our extra flavourings in there. Just give it a little stir to make sure everything's dissolved and mixed through. We're going to bring that to the boil. Let it simmer then for about 15 to 20 minutes till the sweet potato is pretty much cooked before we put the chickpeas in. The sweet potato is nice and squishy. There we go, squishy enough for this. We're going to put in the chickpeas. We're not putting all of them in. This is a can of chickpeas, so I'm putting about half of those in. The other half are going to go in the fridge for something else. Essentially now all we're doing is warming through the chickpeas, so it's just going to be a couple of extra minutes at this sort of low simmer, and then we'll get ready to blend. Right, we are time to blend. We're going to get the handy stick blender out and go for it. There we go. Ooh, I was worried at first that with it looking so dark that we would get enough colour in there, but once it has blended up, that colour has come out really, really nicely. Let's have a little tasteroo, and it's quite a thick soup. You thin it down if you want to, or have it just as thick as this. Yum. Does it need salt? No, do you know what? It doesn't. It's got that lovely smokiness, that hint of spice, and that lovely, lovely sweetness of the sweet potato. I think this one is a success. I found this tin of sweet corn lurking in the back of the cupboard. I've not used it for ages. I think it's possibly even nearly out of date. Yeah, 2023. That's really bad. I forgot that I had it because I'm so used to using frozen sweet corn. Anyway, so I thought, what can I make with that? Because it's canned, it will last. I'm thinking a bit of a chowderish style dish. So we're going to have potatoes, onions, sweet corn. I found some carrot lurking in the back of the freezer, so we're going to use some of that because it is nearly time for the Easter low price veggies, so we need to clear a bit of space in the freezer. If you don't know what that is, today actually, because I'm doing this on the day of putting this video out, most of the supermarkets in the UK are doing low price vegetables for Easter. So part of my shopping is going to go out and buy a load of those and see what we can stock up on. So take a look out for those if you haven't already. So first things first, chop an onion. We're going to do this in the Instant Pot, and we're going to get that going. The onions are in doing their little thing. I've just got this on the saute function on the Instant Pot. The next thing I'm going to do is, we want this soup to be a little bit creamy, but I don't want to use anything like coconut milk or cream. So I've got some cashews here. I'm just going to pour some water on them, and we're going to let these soak for a little while. Whoop, knocking things all out of the way. So I'm just going to leave those off to the side to soak, and they're going to be part of the creaminess. I've left the skins on the potatoes because I decided I couldn't be bothered to peel them. I've got my tin. I've got my carrot. I'm going to get some herbs, and then we're going to carry on. So there we go, those have sautéed enough to be going on with. I'm going to turn off the sauté function, throw in our potatoes. There we go. This is going to be a chuck it all in pretty much recipe. So potatoes are in. I'm going to put that whole lovely tin of corn in there. Yummy. I'm going to use, how many of these carrot things? There we go, 2 of my carrot bits. Now you could also put in here some celery and some peppers, but I haven't got any of those, so as I normally do, I just use what I've got, and it is not a traditional version of anything. That is that. A bit of paprika for smokiness. That's probably about a teaspoon. A little bit of mixed herbs. I do have a couple of bay leaves that I am popping in. Bay leaves are a funny thing. They don't really add a flavour, but they enhance a flavour. And then we're going to cover this with just enough water to be going on with. Push all the bits of carrot that I've got lurking up the sides back down. There we go, that carrot soon melted away. The cashews are not going in till later because they're going to add that creaminess. We're going to pop the lid on the right way. And then we are going to slow cook this, but on high. And in this Instapot, when you cook it on high, it doesn't take too long at all. So I'm just going to do it for an hour and see where I'm up to. Yep. See if I don't start it too quick, it goes off on me. These chickpeas are, I don't know if you can tell, but they've softened slightly. So they're soft enough that I can put them in the Ninja. So we'll get that out. We'll pop them in there. We'll give them a blend. Put the water in too, because you're going to need that liquid. And we'll just blend that for a minute, just till it's nice and smooth. There we go. Smooth chickpea liquid, which is going to just add a little bit of creaminess and a little bit of flavour to that chowder. If you can hear a noise in the background, I'm stood right next to the washing machine because that's where the Instant Pot is, and you can guarantee it's going to go into rinse now. So I'm going to turn it off. I knew I was just about to do that. I just looked down and saw the rinse and spin light come on. Right, anyway, we have got our chowder. I put it on for an extra half an hour and the potatoes are soft enough now, so that is absolutely fine. We've got our cashew cream that we're going to add to that. That's going to give it that lovely creaminess to it. We're going to scoop out our bay leaves. Where's the other one? Oh, there it is, there it is. Second bay leaf. Now, to make this a little bit richer and thicker as well, I'm going to decant some of it back into this container that I used. I could use my stick blender, but I can't be bothered, and this is already mucky, so save wastage. So what I'm going to do is use a ladle and scoop about 3 or 4 spoonfuls out and just give it a quick blend. There we go, there is our blended liquid. So pour that back in, give that a mixeroo, and you can see now you've got a creamier, thicker mixture. If you want it even more thick, do a little bit more, or just stop here. Now we need to taste, so I need to find a spoon somewhere. Okay, spoon found. Let's have a little taste with a little bit of corn, a little bit of carrot. That is lovely. Not too heavy. I think if you'd have used something like coconut milk, it would have made it much more. And I'm not talking coconut milk like what you get in a carton. I'm talking the coconut milk that you get in a can. That'd make it more creamy and heavier. But this is quite a light dish. You can't taste. Can you taste the nuts? Very possibly slightly. I am going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, but ultimately that chowder is done. So 3 more super uber tasty soups. Which one was your favourite? I personally, if I had to pick out of all of these three, it's got to be a hearty chowder. Absolutely love that. So tasty. And the fact that I could just leave it to do its little thing in the Instant Pot so I didn't have to worry about it. Or you could use just a traditional slow cooker as well. Let me know in the comments below. I've got one more soup video to do so I can round out a full year of soups. What soup has been your favourite? If you've not seen all the other soup videos, I will put a link to the there of all the other soup videos that we have done. And let me know in the comments below, what final soups do you want to see? Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.